can I swing at you?
No,
I won't.
If you want to punch you in the face, you can.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. Yeah! No, I'm ready for it. Well, I've managed to catch up with Hayley Turner during a very busy morning of training for the top female jockey in Britain. Hayley, thank you for taking the time, because I know that you've got to do a bit of a workout with Pat, but
right,
just wanted to get a little bit of an insight into why you're doing what you're doing now. You've taken up boxing, training with Pat on a one-to-one basis. How did this all come about?
Well, when I was off for 4 months with my ankle injury, and then when I came back, I felt like I needed to get fit, basically, and I spoke to a few friends that had been doing it, and they really enjoy it. I find the gym quite repetitive. So
You can say boring.
Yeah,
right.
I find the gym really boring. And I looked up Pat and gave him a ring, and then just tried it out. And since the beginning of January, I've been doing it twice a week in the mornings. I think it's quite good because although our job's quite physical, I think to start with, we don't really do any cardio. We do muscle work on the horses, but I think going for runs and doing stuff like this actually just gives you a bit more of an edge to what everyone else is doing, perhaps.
And I suppose it's another way of continuing to propel yourself forward. You're getting stronger physically, and your progression over the last 4 or 5 years has been one of every year, everything gets a little bit better. I presume this is only going to help that.
I hope so, yeah. It's when I came back from my injury, I was just so weak, and I rode one of Conor Dawes' horses at Kempton, and it just did you see it? It just circled the field. I couldn't hold one side of it, but since then I feel so much stronger and fitter riding, and it's something that the alarm goes off at 7, and I don't actually think, oh, I've got to go and do training. I actually really quite enjoy it, and it gives you a kind of kick for the day then when you've woken up a bit and sort of spring in my step. You
had your first ride, what was it, March 2000 now, so 12 years ago. I mean, the difference between... Sorry.
I know.
the difference between your strength now and your strength then would be what?
Yeah, massively different, but I think it's part of sort of growing up as well a little bit, because when I had my first winner, it was I think that year or
June, I think the same year.
And I looked so bad. It was awful. If you ever watch the replay of the race, it's like how that horse won. I was like a penalty on its back, and it still won. And I went to America then, and then I kind of had a gap of 2 years of just strengthening up, and I learned quite a lot in America. And when I came back, I was like a different rider. And then I think it's like when you see the girls riding now, the more they ride, the better they get, and it is just strength, and you're building up the muscles that you use, and you're using them every day then, and it certainly has progressed. Yeah.
Do you feel you're a bit of a role model for female jockeys now, that you're setting the standard almost and doing something like this is something for them to take an example from?
Yeah, I think I don't kind of stand there in the weighing room and preach to them all. Right, everyone listen, sit down. No, the girls are all, they're good fun, and if they have any questions, they'll always ask me. But it is just a matter of working hard, getting fit, and then also getting on the horses is the biggest part, I think. With the ability to win, because I think it was Julie Burke, who's been riding up north, is a really good, strong rider, but she's just not been getting the horses. And I says, when you get on horses that win, you'll think, God, this is actually quite easy. And it's doing her riding the world of good, riding all these moderate enough horses as she's at the back of the field. But when she gets on the good horses, it'll be, that will have been a good experience for her.
Recently, you had your first ride in the Derby. You obviously became the first woman to ride 100 winners, Group 1 winners, Dream Ahead, and Margot did. Do you sometimes pinch yourself that the girl from Nottingham who started riding all those years ago is doing so well?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't really think about it too much like that, because I'm kind of in the weighing room with the lads all the time, and I don't really separate myself from them. And you know, it's nice to have a ride in the Derby for anyone, and you know, any of the lads that have been chuffed as well. And I've just taken the whole progression step, you know, step by step. When I started, you know, I wanted to ride a winner, and then I wanted to lose my claim, and then I wanted a listed winner, and then just set like little targets as I've gone along, rather than walked out the race in school, I'm going to win the Derby and, you know, be champion jockey. I never ever thought that anything like that would happen. So yeah, I've never really been too disappointed in kind of reaching each goal. And yeah, it's nice that the girls can look and see that it can be done. You know, everyone has their own style, and they don't have to do exactly what I'm doing to get there. But I think, yeah, it's nice that they can see that it's possible.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because within racing, there was not that much reaction to you getting the ride on Cavaliero in the Derby, but outside the sport, there was probably more interest in it. The fact that a woman was riding a horse in the Derby, the first time since Alex Greaves on Portuguese Lille. I suppose it was a compliment in a sense that racing didn't give you too much of attention, because well, Hayley Turner is one of the top jockeys, so her getting a run in the Derby isn't that much of a story.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and like you say, it was the non-racing public that, you know, thought it was such a big thing, but it was nice. It was just, you know, good on you, riding the Derby.
Something
and that's
you deserve.
it. Yeah, and now it's like, it's done now, isn't it? So it won't be hyped up again, I think, for any race. I think the Derby's the main one, so it shouldn't look unusual to anyone now if I do have a big ride, and be a bit more low-key, hopefully.
Well, next time, hopefully you'll be on one with a massive chance. Then.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do now is prove that a man can be just as good as a woman. I'm going to get the gloves on. No, I'm ready for it.